cannot begin playing ball too early. I might almost say that while he is still creeping on all fours, he should have a bouncing rubber ball. Because I agree with Christy Mathewson, one of the first 5 baseball players ever admitted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, I must affirm today's resolution, which states, resolved, academics are for girls while sports are for boys. Now I would like to define a few terms from the resolution. The Free Dictionary defines sports as a physical activity that is governed by a set of rules or customs and often engaged in competitively. And also defines academics as of, related to, or characteristic of a school, especially one of higher learning. My value for this round would be justice, which is important because without justice, something cannot be fair. It works with my argument because girls must be shown justice. The facts show that they are clearly smarter than boys. Anybody who says they are not being just to girls. This relates to the resolution because if people are just to girls and say they are smarter than boys, then that proves that academics are for girls. My criterion for this round will be the natural order of things. I base my case on this because boys are naturally stronger than girls, and girls are naturally smarter than boys. This criterion achieves my value premise because the natural order of things shows boys and girls justice. I will now move on to my case. Contention 1, girls are smarter than boys. Subpoint A, IQ tests show it. According to ABC News, girls are now testing higher than boys in IQ tests. James Flynn, a New Zealand-based researcher, says girls have now passed up boys in IQ tests. He says, and I quote, over the last 100 years, everyone in the developing world has been gaining about 3 IQ points, but women have been gaining faster. He went on to say, this is the result of modernity. In every country where women have an equal chance of modernity, women have caught men. End of quote. Girls clearly do not used to have the same opportunities as boys as far as academics and education. As soon as the feminist movement took place, women were given an opportunity to succeed in academics. And so far, they haven't disappointed. I would like to make it clear that my case is not saying that academics are only for girls. Boys can very much be involved with academics as well. But it is clearly for girls. In other words, not only for girls, but it was intended for them. Subpoint B, girls get better grades and have a higher grade point average. According to Business Insider, girls get better grades throughout elementary, middle school, and high school, which means they have a higher grade point average. This clearly shows that girls are simply all-around better at academics. According to ABC News, more girls are graduating from college as well. Also, the boys are likely behind girls in reading. In some states, boys are trailing girls by 10% in that subject. Experts tell ABC News that this gives girls a lifelong advantage over boys. Boys have been known for beating girls by a landslide when it comes to math when tested. Now, according to ABC News and the University of Cal Berkeley, girls and boys are now equal when it comes to math, and that's a huge leap for girls. Due to figures like Albert Einstein, boys have been thought to dominate the subject of math. Now that is simply not true. All this points to the fact that girls are smarter and therefore meant for academics. Contention 2. Boys were made for athletics and athletics were made for them. Subpoint A. The original intent of sports was for boys to compete. At the ancient Olympics, some 3,000 years ago, girls did not compete. Sports were not for them to get into. At the first modern Olympic Games at Athens in 1896, girls did not compete there either. They said it would be incorrect for women to compete at the games. Clearly, sports were not intended for girls in their making. They were specifically intended for boys. Wouldn't this then say that athletics are for boys? Today, when you say that boys dominate the Olympic Games, Usain Bolt, because he is known as the fastest man who ever lived, is cherished at the Olympics for smashing records. Or what about Michael Phelps, who continues to dominate the pool every time he enters it? He has the most medals out of anybody who ever participated in the Olympics. What these two have in common is they're both boys. Boys are for sports and were meant for sports. USA Today reports that the National Football League has the most viewers of any sport in America. Need I mention no girl has ever participated in the National Football League? So you can see that the facts do not lie. Women were not intended for sports, unless they are girl sports such as gymnastics. My stance is not that girls cannot participate or they shouldn't participate in sports. The resolution simply says that sports are for boys and academics are for girls. It doesn't say that sports are only for boys or academics are only for girls. Subpoint B, men were made for athletics. The University of Indiana conducted a report on who is better at sports, boys or girls. The results of that report showed that boys and girls are even in athletic ability through age 8, and very little difference through age 12. After 12, once kids hit puberty, it showed that boys begin to excel as far as height, growth, weight, and strength. Girls are just as athletic before puberty, but once puberty happens, boys get much better and girls do not. This by far shows that boys are better than girls at athletics, and were made for athletics. Girls' growth simply stops. So in conclusion, girls accelerate faster than boys when it comes to academics. The IQ results clearly show that. Boys accelerate faster and longer than girls as far as their muscle and body, which helps with sports. It is because of these things that I must urge an affirmative ballot in today's debate.